How was your practice today?
I thought it was good. The guys practiced hard. I thought we did a much better job this Monday coming off of the Saturday practice. A lot of times when we're in pads and there's a lot of competition and I think they feel like getting in shells and not having a chance to compete as much is a little bit of a letdown. But I thought they handled today very professionally. We had some interaction still, and I thought they did a good job practicing. We got a lot of mistakes that we still got to correct. We saw a ton of mistakes from Saturday that need correcting, but we're continuing to install in every phase just because we need to get these things in and get them on film so our guys can learn from them and prepare ourselves for preseason camp.
Coach, Saturday you said that you'd have to look at the film and evaluate it, and that's being a teaching opportunity for your players. Is there any players that stood out when you watched the film of Saturday's scrimmage?
Well, I think there were some guys that made some good plays. Some guys that are nice surprises. Austin Hill moved from inside linebacker to defensive end, and I think he's having a really good camp. Simon Dellinger's a freshman tight end, and he's just really developed physically, gained some weight, went to our prep school, and is now getting through his freshman year. I think he's doing a really good job. I mean, he didn't have a great scrimmage, but I think just having a good spring camp. I'm excited about the depth we got at quarterback, and that's something it's often hard to come by, is having enough guys that you really feel good about. But we've got a lot of guys at that position that started football games. Tyre Tyler, Anderson, Ballard, Jabari Laws, Jamel Jones has played. Maurice Blond had a good scrimmage. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have played a lot of football for us and are gonna really, make that position one where we feel comfortable if a guy doesn't, isn't playing well and we got to put somebody else in, or gets injured and we got to start somebody else. And clearly we'd like to have a guy that's number one at the top of the depth chart and remains there and stays healthy. That would be really nice. But if it doesn't, I think we got a chance to play some other guys. I feel the same at B-back. I think that's a good group of guys. Offensive line starting to come together. We're a little bit of a hodgepodge mix there because we've had some guys that we've held out, some guys have been injured, some guys switching positions, just trying to come up with the best combination of 5 players there. But that group will come along and they get coached hard, and those guys are really a bunch of tough guys. So I know that they'll battle. Slot back group's a good group, and working on the depth at receiver. Defensively, we held Cunningham and Broughton, so they didn't play, but got to play a bunch of those young safeties, and they got 30-40 reps apiece, which is really good. We held Eric Smith, and Spencer Jones was out, so those guys have been at the top of the depth chart. Kamante Yao, who we expect to be ready to play, he's hobbling around with an injury right now. So again, we got a bunch of young guys, some reps there, and finding out about them. Andre Carter continues to impress us. He improves as he matures, and I think he's getting better this spring. So excited about him. So there's just a lot of things going on that we're happy with in terms of improvement and young guys getting some reps, but or some opportunities to at least prove themselves. We played 86 snaps on Saturday and 16 special team snaps. That I don't know what the math on that is, but 100 so plays with the special teams, and we had 161 missed assignments. So a lot of guys still making mistakes, and we got to get that corrected.
Coach, Charles Grievous here. How are you, first of all?
Good, Charles. Thanks. You.
Thank you. I've heard other coaches of other programs talk about the uniqueness of spring practice, whereby one coach said that what he loved about spring ball is that there's no game at the end of the week, and you aren't really working on game plan preparation, but really working on playing the game of football itself, your offense against your defense, hence making, you know, some real growth, especially for the younger guys, as you just mentioned. Can you provide me with your thoughts surrounding the significance of spring ball for you and the Black Knights program?
To improve fundamentally, that's really what we're hoping to get out of it, for our guys to become better blockers, to become better at defeating blocks, tackling people, taking care of the ball, assignments, so that we don't have 161 missed assignments on 100 plays. That's really what it's for, is for our guys to be better prepared for preseason camp, and for the young guys who haven't played to really learn the speed of the game. When we put scout team guys out there, particularly our offensive scout players that are scouting for our defense, it's not always full speed playing football. It's just hard to do that. It's hard for them to simulate it. And when they screw something up on the scout team, two guys running at each other, and then they're falling on the legs of a guy that we really need to be in there on Saturday, and we get somebody hurt. So it's got to be really controlled. And so they don't learn the speed of the game at this level. And I think the spring is really good for that. I like the fact that we have some scrimmages, and we kind of treat it like game day, and we do them on Saturdays. We incorporate the special teams into the scrimmages so that our guys do get the sense that it is more game-like, and we treat the spring game like a big deal, like it is the opening game of the season. Though it closes the spring practice session, I think that's a great reward for our players, and they really look forward to it, and it means a lot more to them than maybe an outsider looking in would realize.
Okay, and you said you're working on the depth at receiver. In the beginning of the 2020 season, wide receiver Isaiah Austin showed that he can truly be an impact weapon. How has he performed thus far this spring?
We've held him out, frankly. He's been a little nicked up, and we've really pushed him to use this time, since he can't be out there full go, to work on academics. Now, he's been involved in meetings, and he's lifting with us and all those things, but just not going through practice. I think he can be a really dynamic player. He's a lot like Edgar Allan Poe. When you throw the ball up his way, I think he's got a good chance to come down with it, and does a really good job judging the ball. And he's got some growth to make, both physically and mentally, but he's a freshman. So I'm excited he's in our program, and that Coach Gaither does a great job coaching that group, and guys like Sean Eckert, who's now going to his senior year. It's hard for me to believe. He's really improved. Ryan Jakovic is starting to pass people up at the position.
Wow.
And he's really starting to develop. Fun to watch him play. Rican Donaldson's out this spring with an injury. Vache Danion's out this spring with an injury, but I think both of those guys have a chance to help us. And there's guys like Mike Roberts and Jalen Moy that have been around a long time, and you and I've talked about those guys in the past. So there's some veteran guys. Cole Catterbone is just a good, tough football player. He's not what most people would say. If you're going to go recruit a wide receiver, that's what he should look like. That's the skill set we want. But he can play here because he's tough, and he does everything we ask of him. And so I think he's gonna be a lot more productive this year after having played and gained some confidence a year ago.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
You got it, Charles. Okay, guys.
Hey,
Is
Coach,
that it?
can I ask
Oh,
I
yeah,
have one
sure.
question?
Please.
It's not a fun one, but about the honor court violations. I know it affected some athletes. Has the football team been affected by any of that?
Well, the academy put a statement out about that, and it covers everything. And really, I think that encompasses all I'd want to say about it. And so I'd really just refer you to that.
Okay.
Jeff, you mentioned that Laws and Jones have seen some action.
Laws has practiced a little bit. We haven't put him in pads, but he's been out there in shells. A day like today, we let him throw it and do some of the mesh stuff. No contact at all. So yeah, he's been out there. And who was the other guy?
Jones, Jamel.
Oh, Jamel's been out there. Yeah, Jamel practiced on Saturday. In fact, had 2 touchdown drives with his group when he was in there. Did a really nice job.
So how are the two of them, coming back from their injuries and such? Looking good.
Jamel's wasn't near as serious as Jabari. Jabari's was a pretty serious injury, so his is going to take a little bit longer. But Jamel's back to about where he was. He might be a little bit slowed down, little hampered by it, but nothing he won't work through. And by the time we play in the fall, as long as there's no other injuries, I presume he'll be 100%.
Besides the 6 quarterbacks who played last year, anybody on the back end also kind of standing out at this point?
You say that, that's almost like a joke. I mean, people wouldn't believe we played 6 quarterbacks, but yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, 6 quarterbacks, and besides,
so beyond the 6 who played last year, any other new names coming into the fold here?
I mean, there's a couple of freshmen, but I don't know that they're going to factor into that group. I think those guys that played last year, we're getting them all back. Those are going to be the guys. There's going to be some freshmen come in and join that group. It'll be interesting just to see what we've got there athletically. We got a couple other freshmen, as I mentioned, that they're in the quarterback line. I think they're going to be players down the road. They're just probably not battling for a spot among that group of veterans right now.
And then just one question on the wide receivers. You mentioned the names earlier. The fact that so many of them seem to get banged up, nicked up last year, it seems to me, maybe I'm wrong, that you haven't had an opportunity to work with, a lead set of wide receivers consistently. Does that hamper what you want to do, or do you just, take it as it comes?
Nah, just take it as it comes.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Coach, do you have a target date for Jabari Laws as far as like getting them into the contact, or is that going to wait till preseason camp, you think?
Yeah, we won't put him through any contact in the spring, Sal. We'll wait until preseason camp. We anticipate he's going to be ready for preseason camp. And even then, we're going to be very cautious with him. I think it's fair to him, and we just got to ease him back into it. But he's such a competitor, and we've all seen what he's capable of when he's healthy. So the key is we just want to make sure he's healthy.
And it's one more. You were talking about the young safeties who might have got a chance on Saturday's scrimmage. Is Aaron Bibbins one of those guys that is in the mix there?
He is. Leo Lowen, Aaron Bibbins, both of those guys, DeAndre Tobias, that group of guys. And so, they're going to develop. They're going to be players in the future. They're going to play on special teams right away, right now. Some of them played last year on special teams and a good bit. But as the season goes and guys get injured, you're going to see those guys in games. So we're pleased with them athletically. They're making some mistakes, but they're also freshmen, and hopefully they're going to grow out of that.
Does Bo Nicholas, Paul's kickoff return for a touchdown Saturday, put him in the mix there for
Sure.
2021?
Heck yeah. I mean, he's playing corner and really has had a pretty good spring, and he's getting better. He's still got a lot he's got to do better, but I think Coach Dixon does a great job coaching those guys out there. And he also coaches the kick returners and punt returners, and Bo did a nice job. He caught the ball and he ran as fast as he could toward the other goal line, and that's a great way to return a kick. And so if he'll do that and continues to make plays there, we certainly want to give him a chance to do it.